I hope you're all doing well today. I just wanted to share you some ideas that I use with children on my caseload who do not like to color with crayons or with pencils. I just wanted to show some ideas. The first thing that I like to do is just show you some materials that I have today. So I have a white sheet of paper. I do love to use white sheets of paper with children because I really do feel like all their life they'll have coloring sheets, they'll have worksheets to do. So I do want them to have just open-ended creativity. So this is one of my favorite things to use with children. Also, the materials that I have today, some tape. I have a box of crayons that were already opened. I have markers, just regular markers. I have also some dot art markers, and I've been using a cupcake holder with the carrying case to hold a lot of my speech and therapy supplies lately, and it's been wonderful because I can just put like one object in each container and then I can just kind of stack them, and I feel like it's really helped me to be more organized. So that's something that I've been doing. Also, I have the Color Wonder. It's the mess-free Color Wonder mess-free coloring with some pages inside. And then I also have, in this case, I have the Color Wonder markers. So I'll be using that today. And also working with different sizes. So sometimes children do better with gripping a marker or a crayon when they're a little shorter. So I'll be talking about just working with different sizes as well today. And the last thing I have is a cart cutout shape. So we'll start with this. Okay, so sometimes children have different grips when they're coloring. And I've had the pleasure to work with many pediatric occupational therapists. They work on helping children to hold crayons and different writing manipulatives to color. So I've been blessed with learning a lot of techniques. So I did learn that children do start off with an adapted fisted grip, kind of when they're coloring. And then children can, from this stance, they can color where they turn their wrist, their thumb toward the paper, and then they kind of color in this fashion. And then the last way that children typically color is when they do it with an adult grip. So they're just twisting their wrist and then they're able to color this way. So this is kind of where we're trying to aim to get many children to color. So I do know that some children, they have the crayon and they'll just drop it and they won't color anymore. So sometimes I'll have my own crayon to encourage the child color. And then hopefully the child will again want to color just a little bit more. Sometimes children, I feel like when they color, they have the lightest markings on the paper. So that's when I feel like the child doesn't have enough visual feedback. They're not getting a lot out of coloring because they're not seeing kind of what they're doing. So in those cases, we can use a marker, and I feel like the marker colors a little bit brighter. And the child can, be encouraged to color more. So let me find another one. The markers can be a little bit brighter, so encouraging children to color more. So that is an idea for to help a child color. I also found these Crayola paint markers. They're Crayola washable paint sticks. Children absolutely love this. They slide really nice on the paper and tons of color. So I think that this is a really good option, and it's shorter, so sometimes children will have that better grip on the crayon. So these are what I use a lot in therapy. Okay, another thing that I did this past week in therapy is use a heart and it was Valentine's Day, so I used like a little heart cutout. So I'm gonna go ahead and use some tape, and then we'll secure it. And what I used for this activity were the dot markers. So we'll do some red for Valentine's Day. I noticed some children, they came down with a huge force. And again, I know that pediatric occupational therapists work with children with proper force, like when they are playing with toys, when they're coloring. So I did encourage children to dot a little bit softer this week. Okay, let's go ahead and use some purple. And sometimes I will go ahead and dot and color for a little bit and let the child, and this is like one of the best activities for children. I do not have not one child that doesn't enjoy these dot markers. Now we can use like a marker. I did this part, but just to trace out so that we can get that heart shape. Again, I did this for Valentine's Day, but we can be so creative with this, a cutout, and use a pumpkin for Thanksgiving. We can use a cutout for a tree for Christmas time. So we can be real creative with how we do that. So I think that is really adorable, and we can go ahead and take this cutout off. I'll move the tape. And for this activity, I wrote at the top, Happy Valentine's Day and love, and then the child, so that they can give it to their parents for Valentine's Day. So this is one, and then I actually did one a little bit earlier. So these are adorable, simple art activities for children. The idea that I have for tons of fun and visual feedback is working with an app. Now, I personally do not use many apps with children when I am working with them. I use a lot more hands-on objects, toys, and activities, but there are a few apps that I do like and that I have and do use with children. So this app is the Finger Paint app, Finger Paint with sounds. Go ahead and play it. So I have 3 different options. I have an option with no music or sound, play music, and then play sound effects. So let's go ahead and go with the play music. And this is just letting me know that to clear the screen from all the paint markings that we'll be doing, if I just take 2 fingers and tap the upper left corner, that it will clear the whole screen. All right, so again, the child can use their index finger or many fingers. When they select a color on the side, how fun is that? It makes music, it sounds, it's colorful, there's a lot of feedback. So this could help motivate a child to be able to do those markings that we want, that pre-writing skills. And of course, these pre-writing skills will help them in the future for writing skills and written expression. So this is just a foundational skills that I love to help children. So how fun is that? And then again, if I want to clear it. Okay, this time let's go ahead and try to do play the sound effects. Yeah, I think this will really help a child be motivated. Okay, so let's use the Color Wonder. So it comes with the paper. I actually cut the paper in half because I have so many children on my caseload that I cut it so that I can stretch it a little bit. So I'll just use one of the papers. These are for parents that would prefer options of markers that are not too messy. And it also comes with a stamper. So this is like the ink part. And then these are the little stampers. So let's try to work with this. I'll try the stamper first. So I do love to work with children with stamps. So I stamped it and then it comes up, and that's with a nice lion. So this is all working with helping children to start telling stories with stamps, with markers. I'll do another one here. A lot of visual feedback. They stamp and then that comes out nicely. And then we can go ahead and have the child color. And then as they color, the color appears momentarily. So I think that's very, very precious. So looking at the size of crayons and markers, sometimes if we use a crayon that is a little bit smaller, again, it will help a child to have more of an adult grip. So you can just use crayons that have broken over time. One tip is that I never ever break a crayon in front of a child. I'll do it ahead of time, or I'll just have a shorter crayon, or if I'm working with a child, I'll kind of hide. I don't want children to, start breaking crayons because I showed them how to do that. So let's see if I go ahead and color with the crayon. A shorter crayon allows me to have room in my hand area here, and then I can have like that better adult grip. So that's an idea for a child as well. With a larger marker, a child may have more of a fisted grip when they're coloring. So I could, as an option, go ahead and choose a shorter marker and maybe get more of that adult grip. All right, so loads of fun ideas to work with children. Let's go ahead and discuss the pre-writing strokes that I work with children. So the first one is the vertical line, horizontal line, and the circular markings. And when children master 1, 2, 3 skills, then the last one is the cross. And these are good for children that are 2 and older to work on these markings, and then it'll just set them up for when they do have to write letters when they get to pre-K, kindergarten, and further education. Well, I hope you enjoyed all of these ideas to help motivate children to want to color. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.